All right, you're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq. Welcome to my daily review. The Nasdaq today recaptured its 50, 10, and 20, all the moving averages here today on a nice move of 156 points or 1.14%. It's still a choppy mess to me. It's directionless, trendless. You could see that after the breakout in May, it had a nice uptrend and a nice pullback, very orderly and constructive. But now we've had this up, down, up, down, up. I mean, just a choppy tape. And it's pretty tough to trade without the tailwinds of the Nasdaq behind me. Most of the growth stocks that I traffic in need the NASDAQ tailwinds, and just not getting it here. Of course, today we had a nice day, but it's very top heavy. You can see the 10 EMA, it's 0.5% above the 10, 0.8 above the 21, and 0.3. So it's all within about a 0.5%, these three moving averages. So that is usually a bullish sign when the moving averages tighten up like that and converge. Those three, it can be a power of three type of situation, but we'll see. To me, the Nasdaq is not proven anything. And you ask, what would it take for me to get bullish? Well, for me, it needs to get above this old high here, 14,149. I'd like to see it start making higher highs. Yeah, it is making higher lows. Granted, you can see right here, making higher lows, but just a choppy tape. And it's September, August and September. You got to expect this, consolidation, this sideways trading action. It's seasonality, and I do believe in seasonality. Anyway, like I said, the index was top heavy today with these. Whenever you see the Nasdaq move like that, you know that the Magnificent Seven, as they're called, are going to be trading higher. This is Apple. Went down last week on being banned by the China government officials, and now bounced a couple of days, just a weak little bounce. I still think it'll close that gap right there. They have a iPhone announcement tomorrow. What's the low there? 181.47. Yeah, it didn't quite get there. So the iPhone 15 tomorrow, I'm sure it'll have a faster processor and a nicer camera or whatever, but not a lot of innovation there, not a lot of growth from Apple. So no, I wouldn't be short it, but it's pretty tough to be long here too. It's like in no man's land. A lot like the Nasdaq. The Microsoft stock today got above its 50, so this is positive. Not much volume here today, but you could see it's just consolidating in a base. This one's trading real orderly and is real tight. And now today moved above its 50 by 1.6%. So good for the Microsoft. I mean, it's just, if you're a long-term holder of Microsoft, it's been a huge winner. If you're trying to trade it, I think it's got more work to do on that right side. Meta is another one that recaptured its 50 today, much like the Nasdaq. It got up to 309 and closed 2.2% above the 50. So that's looking constructive. I mentioned that a lot of these bases are looking real short, because what's this, July 27th? It's not even 6 weeks, maybe a 6-week base. So it needs a little more time. Many of these bases, just what they need is time. Google is one that has been a strong performer, even when the Nasdaq was selling off. This thing is performing well. That one looks good. Amazon was on our watch list this week because I'm going to zoom in here on Amazon. I want to point a couple things out here. Now, what the Nasdaq was selling off in July, this thing was still pumping, making new highs, right? So it's a divergence from the index. Also, it made a break above its downtrend line, but then pulled back to the 50. Obviously, from its high, it pulled back to the 50, then broke above, and it broke above the downtrend line, then pulled back with the general market weakness back to the 50. But now the last 3 days, it's continued to break above that downtrend line. It's getting support, and now today made a nice move higher of 3.52%. So to me, Amazon looks like one of the better plays of those large mega cap tech stocks. I didn't get to Tesla, did I? I talked about how this is pinching in here and getting real tight. And anytime a stock like this, large mega cap stock is bumping its head up against a 50 so many times being rejected, usually it breaks through eventually. And today it did on an upgrade from one of the Jonas brothers. Anyway, that's enough of the, what did I do? Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Google. Oh, okay. I'm going to go down the negative road here. The NVIDIAs and the semiconductors, even though the SMH was up today, a lot of these larger cap stocks were down, and this is NVIDIA, and it's just trading right at its 50 here. To me, it's probably going to find support here and bounce. What happened is, on earnings, it ran from 400 to 500. Okay, so that's a nice 25% move. Pulled back and retraced 50% of that move back to 450. Rallied up again towards the high and retraced again. So it retested that old 450 level today. I think it got down to even like 445 or something, 443. So that's a nice retest here. And to me, this thing is obviously making higher lows and finding support there at the 50. This looks pretty good. I mean, if the shorts can't push it down any further, you got to look at both sides of it. If I'm a short, I'm very frustrated. Why can't all this negative news about, CoreWeave and they're fudging their numbers and, the China news, and they can't push it down any further. So to me, it tells me that it's just going to find support at the 50. And, the machine trading is going to buy that stock at that level. AMD is another one that just pretty horrific stock here. Like I said, I'm going to do the negative stuff first, and we'll take you back on the positive path. AMD, though, I mean, I'm sorry. I just, I don't know what to say about this stock. I know it. I'm not going to get into it. Hey, that's AMD for you. It keeps getting rejected at the 50. How about that? I'm not going to say it's a good short, because I don't think it, in this tape, it's very difficult to be short or long. LSCC, another one. Below the 50 is very negative action here. You can see it sliced it, today with, lighter volume, but there's just no buyers here. And you can see it's been a long time. It's just been chopping in this zone here, just a chop fest since, springtime. Pretty tough tape. Marvell, this one had a decent day today, but my gosh, it's been sold off and slapped around and just there's no strength here. But that's one of the better semiconductor stocks today. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to go down that negative road and bring you back on the positive track. The oil and gas, the XLE was the only sector that was down today, I believe. And NOG pulled back to its 21. That's all. It still looks good. You got to look at the weekly charts. It broke out above its consolidation, now just pulled back. So NOG probably giving another opportunity there. That one looks pretty good. DO, this is one that's on our ready list. Nice break here today, 3% move, and now it's above 16. Say if you look at the weekly charts, still in consolidation, and has shown the ability to make big moves in the past, which is something that I like. The Tidewater and Weatherford, these ones are looking good as well. Tidewater up 2%. This one's just the strength of the oil and gas field services stock. Weatherford is going into the S&P Mid-Cap 400 next Monday. This one was up, making a new high today, just like a champ. And Permian is also going into the S&P Mid-Cap 400 next Monday. Pulled back to its 10 EMA, but you can see it's had a nice run here. So this pullback looks healthy. Nothing wrong with that stock. All right, we're going to go down the positive road, and we need drugs to do it. Lilly, this thing is just nonstop. I get people who want to argue, and I don't argue with people. I mean, the price tells it all. this thing wants to go higher, it's just going to go higher. It might be overvalued, it might be the greatest short in the world, but shorts are getting crushed here. And I know it's breaking above its that upper channel line, but I mean, I'm sorry, this thing wants higher prices. I'm not going to argue with it. Yeah, let it go. However you want to draw this thing, folks. Lily's going higher, and you can see these big, blue volume bars here. So somebody's buying it. Why argue? Why argue with the market? NVO is another one. Just keeps going higher. Look at every week, this thing is going higher. Today was over 200, then closed below it. But I had this on our ready list because it has this 4-week base. That's what I'm talking about. A lot of these stocks just have these like short 4, 5, 6-week bases, and now they're punching higher. So it's I like to see the bigger bases like this one right here was a nice base and a gap higher, but now this one's got a short little flat shelf type base, and now it wants higher. You can't argue with it. If the stocks are going higher, you can't argue with them. Don't argue with Mr. Market. That's a good way to lose money. I wanted to get this biotech stock here, CRNX. This one made a big move, 63%. That's a big move on a phase 3 trial, and that's something even though this doesn't have earnings or anything, that's a big move that probably shouldn't be ignored. I'm going to keep that one in the on our gap list anyway. So the drug stocks doing pretty well. Vertex is another one that I like. It's a crazy trader, very difficult. You just got to hold this one. For me, long term, I can't trade this thing. It's below the 50. Had a decent day today though. Just close your eyes and look back in 6 months and it'll probably be higher. That's kind of what that thing does. Anyway, the cybersecurity stocks, this is one group that I really, really like. And this is CrowdStrike. Probably my favorite of these, stocks here. This one last week broke above that 162 level, now above the 166.99. This one looks very good to me. Also, Zscaler was up 4% today. Not this one. Sentinel one, yeah. Not one of the better ones. Anyway, this is Zscaler. I like this one as well. I had this one on our I believe it was on our watch list. Definitely not on our ready list because I had Crowd. You can't put too many of the same stocks on there. But this one was up 2% today, right? 2.6%, $4, and above that 164.29. So to me, that still looks viable. It's got this double bottom base type pattern here. Maybe it'll handle out, for a couple of sessions before making its move higher. But these ones all look good to me. OKTA is another one that gapped higher on an earnings report, and now it's following through to higher prices. That's a standard buy point, 91.50, but I think you get, probably get in before that. QLYS, QLYS is another one that you got to look at the weekly on this one. This is a big base. This is a monster base here, back from September of 2022. So this one is a year base in the making, and pulled back and now trading near that buy point here. You can see this nice sharp little handle on QLYS here after it made that high at 154, pulled back to this moving average and now trading higher. Definitely a nice looking base there, nice looking stock. And of course, I got to go to Palo Alto Networks because anytime we talk about cybersecurity, this one's the king. Went up on that earnings report up to 246, pulled back to the 21, found support, and now it's trading above that level. And it just looks to me like it wants to take out that old high of 258.88. You can see this is, double bottom as well. And those stocks look great. That was one of the stronger groups. But speaking of strong groups, you got to go to the air conditioning, the HVAC stocks. This one had an inside day today, but just showing strength, trading along its moving average. I tell you, there's not a lot of stock trending like this. And this is a trend trader's dream. Just a beautiful looking chart there for Fix. Another one on this list is MOD. This one flat today, but trending along its moving averages. looking good. This is Linux. This is the builder of the more high-end type of units, and this one's making, you know, higher lows, higher highs, made a new high today, so that one looks good. And the other one is OKTA. This one's on our ready list as well, just forming a base. I like this pullback to the moving average, find support, and now it's trading higher, so that one looks good. Carrier. And the home builders are being sneaky now. You got to watch these. They're just forming little bases here. But Pulte Homes was making new highs there in August while the Nasdaq peaked in July 18th. So this one continued higher, and now it's just forming a base here. Keep your eye on these. They're not rolling over and dying. They're just forming bases. This is DR Horton, sliced to 50. Now it's just trying to make a bottom here, and it's going to build, hopefully, well, we're going to watch to see if it can build the right side of a base and trade through this 50 simple moving average. And just give it some time. These things need time. So I've been talking about, some of these bases need time to build. Builder, speaking of building, we're going to go to Builder, BLDR. And this one sliced its 50. Once again, made new highs while the Nasdaq was correcting. This one eventually sliced its 50, made a low here at 122. Went through the 50, now pulled back. And I mentioned the 65 EMA. And yeah, there's some machine programs, I'm sure, that are just buying stocks at the 65, just like they do at the 50 and 200. So Builder, though, is just building the right side of its base here. And it just needs time. These stocks need time. So I'm not going to count them out yet. The last group that I'm going to cover is the software groups. And this is Splunk. This one had this massive move on August 24th, and it just continued higher, showing strength, flat today, but still looks really good. I mean, you don't see that type of action in a bear market. These stocks that have gapped higher, I showed you those on Saturday, that are gapping higher and holding their gains and extending them, actually. MongoDB, I wanted to point this out, that it's, you know, it's forming a base here, but today it went back above its 50 simple moving average, up 4.5%. So it's a nice move for MDB. And Palantir is another one, trying, you know, it looks like it's forming a base to me. This one made a new high while the index was correcting. Now it sliced its 50, you know, probably went down to the 65, right? If I change the moving average, you know what you're going to see, right? Let's see here. I'm just doing this on the fly because I haven't checked this out. Nope, it's 65 is 1506, so it traded below the 65, but now it's up against the 50 there at $16.16. So hit it today, close below it now, watch for tightness and a rally through on Palantir. And DUOL, this is one that I kind of screwed up. You can see the clear double bottom base. I should have put this on a ready list. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, when it broke above that downtrend line. Nice sharp move there, and then just extended higher. Now it's at the standard buy point of 162, but to me it looks extended here, as it's already 6.7% above its 10 EMA. So yeah, that's chasing, and you can't chase because then you get shaken out on a normal pullback. Anyway, that's it for me today. Except for in honor of Steve Jobs, I have one more thing, and that is Oracle, after hours, reported a really strong report and selling off 8%, down 8% on that report, where they beat on earnings and beat slightly on revenues. And then Ellison was talking about how they had doubled their contracts, and I really don't know why this thing's selling off 8%. I'm gonna have to look more into it. Maybe it's just a buy the rumor and sell the news. But they're at 116. It's you know, it's gonna slice its 50 there. So we'll see if it finds support at its 50 tomorrow. I have a feeling it will. There's no reason on a report like that for it to be down 8%. That's a big move lower. Yeah, the 21 is 120.44, so that's a pretty big gap down tomorrow. Anyway, I'm going to keep my eye on that. Lots of stuff happening here on a Monday here in the as we wind down the summer and try to get through this third quarter here and get into earnings season in October, and maybe we'll hear some positive news and get back in uptrend here that we had enjoyed so much from May through July. Anyway, that's it for me today. And remember, at MC Stock Charts, we never, ever give up.